Hi everybody, it's your girl Danny B. Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be having a very interesting conversation, and we're going to be talking about credit in the home buying process. Recently in my friend circle, I have been getting a lot of questions about, what I did to improve my credit and how I was able to purchase this home. So I'm not giving any financial advice. I'm just going to give you my experience on some of the things that I did to help my credit so I was able to buy this home. Okay. So when I first moved to Atlanta, I lived in an apartment, a one-bedroom apartment. So after living there for about a year, I decided that I would like to move to a bigger apartment. And I wanted to move to a nicer area. By that time, I had got to know the area, and I kind of, figured I wanted to stay in a certain part of town. So as I started looking for two-bedroom apartments, I discovered that they were really expensive. And so I was like, sheesh. I was like, this is gonna almost double my rent if I get a bigger apartment. I really needed more space because I didn't have a lot of closet space in my apartment. And then also, because I am from out of town, I used to have a lot of visitors come in and people did not have anywhere to stay. So I wanted an extra room for my guests and, for storage and things of that nature. So once I saw how expensive the two-bedroom apartments were, I started to think about buying a home. So I started doing research on, what the cost of the homes were in Atlanta to see what neighborhoods I could afford, and did also research on how to figure out what my down payment would be and what a mortgage would be, in the type of house that I wanted. And that was just some basic Google searches. I looked on Zillow, homes.com is a good one, just to get a feel for what's out there, the price range, and what I can afford to put down and what my payment would be. They have like mortgage calculators on those websites to help you kind of figure out what you can and cannot afford. So the first rule of thumb really with starting to go to the home buying process is your credit. So I already pretty much did some work on my credit prior to moving into my apartment. When I first moved to Atlanta, I was staying with my brother for about 4 or 5 months. So that gave me the opportunity to pay off a lot of credit cards that I had from undergrad and grad school. So I did that first because you really need to have your credit cards under 30%. 30% is like the first rule of thumb of a healthy credit card utilization. And the way that I was able to track that was through the Credit Karma app. Credit Karma is excellent. I'm honestly obsessed with it. I'm always checking my Credit Karma all the time to see what it says, and it gives you tips on things that you can do to bring your credit score up. If you're eligible for a refinance with a car or a balance transfer, it gives you tips on what cards you can balance transfer to and which ones you can get approved for per your credit. So that's an excellent tool that I recommend to everybody. It's free. It's pretty accurate because I used Credit Karma to kind of be my starting point to figure out what my credit score was. And when I got my credit pulled to buy my home, it was pretty on target with Credit Karma said. So that's kind of like the first step if you have not already done that, is to bring your credit card balances below 30%. And like I said, you can do balance transfers, and if you download the Credit Karma app, if you need to do a balance transfer, it will tell you which cards have 0% interest for a certain amount of time, and it'll give you suggestions on cards that they think that you will be eligible for. So that's a very good tool to use. So that's the first line of business, is making sure that your credit is together. So in the mortgage world, a credit score of 740 or higher is going to give you the best interest rate. So when I bought my house in January of 2019, the interest rates were a little higher. So I did have a credit score of over 740, but because interest rates were higher, I had to pay a little bit of a higher interest rate because I applied for my loan in the fall of 2018. And at that time, interest rates were I think my first interest rate was 5.25. But since then, because of coronavirus and because of the market, the rates have dropped. And so I was able to actually refinance my home with an interest rate of 3.75 due to the fact that the rates have went down. So I definitely took advantage of that. And if you own a home, Credit Karma will tell you, you know, you may be eligible for a refinance. It'll give you the companies that are offering the lowest interest rates and, you know, places that they think that you'll be eligible for. So like I said, Credit Karma is a great app. And I know that fixing your credit can sometimes be intimidating, especially if you don't have the best credit. I always say that pull a copy of your credit report and see if there's anything on it that you can dispute. Most charge-offs or delinquent accounts fall off after 7 years. So if you have something that's getting ready to fall off, you know, you may can wait a little bit before you apply for your loan. Like for instance, I had a student loan that I was behind on, and right before I moved here, the delinquency fell off because it had been 7 years, and my credit score went up like 40 points because of that. And it was actually good timing because I needed a new car. I had my same car since I had graduated from college, and it was just old, and it just was time to get a new car. So I would say if you have some delinquencies on there, don't, you know, just be patient. If it's near the 7-year mark, they're gonna fall off eventually. But also I would say dispute things. If there's something, make sure that everything on your credit report is accurate, and you can dispute it, and you can actually do that through the Credit Karma app. You can go through and select the account, and if it's wrong, you can hit the dispute button, and the Credit Karma company will actually contact the credit bureau and dispute it for you. So I would say be patient. If you have things on your credit report that need to be paid off, start with the lowest thing on your credit report and go from there. So let's say you have a credit card that has a $500 balance or $600 balance, and that's your lowest thing. Pay that off first. Try to pay off one thing at a time. Don't try to overwhelm yourself and pay off stuff all at once. Just take your time with it. I would say right now is an excellent time to buy a house. Interest rates are low. And if you can take advantage of everything that the government is offering with stimulus checks and things of that nature, I would say use that money to buy a home if you want to become a homeowner. This is the perfect time. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and drop down in the comments if you have any questions. Bye-bye. Have a good day.